Owen, his sister Tyler, and their dog Pimpin just moved into a new house by a mysterious lake after their parents Patrick and Jess got divorced. While Jess accused Patrick of sleeping with and impregnating the nanny, Patrick ruled how much of a choice she left him with seeing how she did drugs and was out of herself. While Owen was having the time of his life, looked like Tyler didn't like it at this house and asked her mom how long they'd stay. Good things for her. They had to go see their dad once in a while and it was about time. Jess worked at a hospital where she nursed an old lady, Mrs. Helen, who didn't have much time left. She even asked for Jess to help her end her life as she had no family or kids. On a good afternoon, Tyler, Owen, and Pimpin wandered to the lake, which was now dried up with a tree in the middle. Looked like someone tried to burn it down before but wasn't successful. Pimpin saw something in the lake and ran towards it, with Owen chasing after his dog. Things get muddy and Jess said they had to be clean to get in the house. The next day, Owen thought he saw something. After Pimpin barked, Jess thought it was a rob, but Pimpin was already off. Owen chased after him but lost him. Somehow, Owen thought Jess didn't care about the dog because Patrick had bought it for them, so he went out his own way to find the dog. 2 nights later, Pimpin was back but not the same. Looked like he was possessed by something. His eyes were yellow. In excitement, Owen had already ran to him. Too late, Owen was bitten by Pimpin. Losing much blood, Owen was rushed to the hospital. Patrick blamed Jess for what happened, with Jess reminding him who had bought the dog. Good news, Owen woke up, his vitals were okay. Just that he didn't want to eat, but things were fine. Well, until they weren't anymore. Owen had collapsed and his condition had worsened. The doctors didn't know the actual problem, but Jess and Tyler had to remain optimistic. Owen woke up again. This time he was in high spirit. How high? Oh, Snoopy high. He went straight for it. The transfusion blood. Jess saw Owen gulping it down like it was some juice. Jess thought Owen wasn't himself and quickly took it from him. It took another breakdown for Jess to finally realize why her son's health kept fluctuating. He needed to drink blood to be healthy. She had to find a way. First, she stole a reasonable amount from the hospital supply when Owen was discharged. But this wasn't enough as the thirst grew. No one else knew about this, not even Tyler, who thought things were back to normal. Pimpin, who died the night he bit Owen, was buried. Soon the hospital figured out their supplies were missing and changed protocol. Jess had to find another way. First, she tried buying pets and draining out their blood, but that didn't help at all. Meanwhile, Owen's teachers were asking after him at school. Sooner than later, her fears came upon her. She had to pay the ultimate price, her own blood. Owen now loved it warm and fresh from the source. Every time Patrick was to take the kids out, Jess would prepare a bottle or two for Owen. So far, the secret had been safe, and things were moving, till one day, she passed out with a pan on fire, almost getting the house burned. Another day, she fainted. Jess knew she couldn't keep feeding her blood to her son. She needed another host, but help. Then she remembered the name Helen Osgood, the lady who had wished to die so well. Jess stole some of her blood at the hospital while she was unconscious. The next time Jess went to steal some more blood, Helen had been discharged and began seeing the bright side of life. Jess offered to take her home. She hesitated but later agreed. While in the car, Jess hit Helen with a high dose of sedative. The next time Helen opens her eyes, she was tied in Jess's basement with her blood flowing out gradually. Jess apologized and explained her situation, but Osgood wanted to live. Things were matching up but couldn't escape the curious mind of Kyla, who wondered why the door to the basement was locked with keys. Breaking her way into the basement from the back one day, Tyler found Helen there. Tyler was about freeing Helen before Jess opened the door. Kyla had to hide herself. The scarf on Helen's mouth had been loosened. Jess knew Tyler was there and explained things to her. Tyler found a way to understand the whole situation, how Mrs. Osgood could help save her brother while they worked on fixing the whole situation. Down in the basement, trying to give Osgood some attention, Helen Osgood began telling Jess how much she admired what she did, asking that she be released, that she'll stay and help with Owen's needs while they all leave together. Jess didn't fall for her lies as she stabbed Jess with her scissors the moment one of her hands was untied. Helen tried escaping, but Jess overpowered her. Just about that time, the cops pulled up, asking Jess a few questions about a missing person, adding that they saw footage where Jess picked up Mrs. Osgood at the hospital. Jess narrated how she had dropped her off and never seen her again, revealing how Helen wanted to end her life artificially at the hospital. At the basement, Helen had freed her mouth and was shouting for help. The officers didn't hear, but left after thanking Jess for her time. That night, Helen managed to loose the ropes and break her way out the basement, running into the darkness. Jess and her kids, who had walked in just in time, kept looking for her. Helen ran into a sharp wire fence and had a big cut on her throat. Owen located her with help of her blood scent and feasted heavily on her. Jess found Owen with Helen in his hands and her blood in his mouth. Helen was buried, and yet another secret for them to keep hidden. Owen was getting worse. He just wanted more and wasn't getting enough. Tyler had made her way back to the lake, concluding that's where the problem had started, and there was something evil in the tree which had been transmitted to Pimpin and now Owen. 5 weeks had passed. Owen had been out of school. Patrick came along with child service to take custody of the kids, thinking all was well with Owen. He was successful. With Helen dead, Jess packed some of her own blood for Owen, which he finished while in the car. Owen was already very hungry when they reached the house that he wanted to feast on Patrick's little baby he had with the nanny. He was stopped by Tyler, who cycled with him on her bike to the lake. She wanted them to burn down the tree, but Owen was now very hungry. There was no one around but Tyler. On seeing the look in Owen's face, Tyler knew she was in trouble. Owen began chasing her, almost biting her before saved by Jess, who Patrick had informed of their absence, thinking she was now hiding them from him. Jess knew just where to find them. The evil in Owen had taken over him. He could have killed his mom if only he was strong enough. Jess ordered Tyler to turn around as she pushed Owen into the swampy lake where he died. The last secret, Jess and Tyler had to lie about Owen's death, tagging it an accident in the lake. There was no criminal investigation done on the accident, but Patrick pushed a negligence claim as Jess had let the kids play in the endangered area, and also there was an unusual deficiency of vitamin D and C in Owen's body after autopsy. Patrick received full custody of Tyler to be reviewed in 6 months. Jess later burnt down that tree. Maybe she found some closure in that. And that's all for today. Tell me what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. Flicks and 4. Bye.